It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. The dragon being the Roman Empire. That's where they got their power from. You know, that's why even today in America, you see that they have all the terminologies and law and Roman numerals and architecture of ancient Rome. You know, because everything stems back to there. That was that beast. You know, and even today, as our elder Apostle Tara pointed out last week, that everything that came when the European Union came together as the ECC or the European Economic, the EEC, the European Economic Community, it all came together back in 1957 under what? The Treaty of Rome.
Yeah, the American Express card on the face of the card is a Roman centurion. Yep. The architecture of Rome. Now, why is that? What does the American Express got to do with Rome?
And that's where they got their authority from, you know, from Rome. And I saw one of his heads as they were wounded to death. Now, last week we were going into it, you know, with the five that were fallen, which were the five kingdoms that were under their ancient names that were during the time of the Roman Empire, because the Roman Empire took them down. But now the Roman Empire itself fell, you know, in 193 AD and a little after that. They actually fell as an empire, and that empire never came back into power until after 1,000 years in the future.
Like Scripture said, it was wounded because the philosophy was still around. It was just that Jake was now presiding over it. That's right. When Jake took over, they weren't exactly righteous. Not like when Solomon was ruling, that was a righteous kingdom. Now, when Jake took over under the Roman Empire, they were still carrying that same philosophy. They were carrying the eagle. That's right. You know? Yeah. So it was wounded. Right. You know? Because right. Esau was taken out and Jake was put in. That's right.
And I saw one of his heads as they were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. You know? So now when was it healed? It took a process of time, 1,000 years later, going into the mid to late 1300s into the 1400s when Israel started losing their power in what they call the Byzantine Empire.
Then you had the Borgia family. Yep. I believe Alexander Borgia, his title was Pope Calixtus, which means holder of the cup. Holder of the cup. The calyx means cup. So he got up in there. He got in power. Alexander Borgia. You know, the Borgia family. That's where Caesar Borgia came out of. One of the images that was used to deceive the whole world was Caesar Borgia, the son of Alexander Borgia.
And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And that's when it happened. You know, once the what they call a Renaissance period came into being, and all those different monarchs or them Edomites took over the monarch positions, you know, and they took over the Roman Catholic Church. That's when they started deceiving the whole world, and the whole world started believing that the Most High was a white man, that Yahweh Shai was a white man, you know? You know?
And then when they became the beast, that was during the time of NATO, okay? That was during the time of NATO because, now there was one video that the idiot Nate said, made a statement dealing with the mark of the beast, and he said that that we would receive the mark from the beast, and he said something about somehow he got slavery. They shall not buy or sell or something like that. I got to look at the video again because it was about a year ago. And first of all, during the time of slavery, the beast of Revelation wasn't even assembled. So I mean, there you go again, speaking out the side of your black ass, you know.
Verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who was able to make war with him? And if you really look at it, you know, really all those forces in NATO, you know, with America included, nobody can really make war against them. That's why, you know, Russia and China and them, Right, that's what it is.
That's why Russia is a great power, and Russia has an economic deal with China, India, Brazil, South Africa. Yep, and they back up Iran and those other certain Middle Eastern nations.
Yeah, because really you can't make war against the beast unless you have a allied force, you know.
And the answer to that, who is able to make war with the beast, is Yahweh Shai. What is that? And there was war in heaven.
Yeah, Revelation 12.
Revelation 12.
Which we'll go into that next week.
That sets it up lovely for Revelation 12. So the answer to that question is, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? That's Yahweh Shai and the angels. Nobody else can make war with that beast.
Verse 5, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, because not only are they blaspheming Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know, by his image, you know, and saying that they're so-called white men, that the Israelites are white, you know, so on and so forth, and all the lies that they teach. But they're also saying that nobody can take them down. They have a slogan in the Air Force, which I believe is an actual song, says that nothing can bring down the Air Force, or something to that effect. You know? So these devils, they're so proud that they don't think that they're ever going down. But you have to remember all those other ancient empires that thought the same way, eventually they were brought down. The only difference was like with Nebuchadnezzar, when the Most High set up Nebuchadnezzar, he became proud. The Most High turned him into an animal, you know, made him eat grass.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because I just pulled this up, so I must be allowed to speak, right? This right here is an article, and let me give you the date. Okay, this article was submitted by Taylor Durden, which is today. Today. It says Cold War 2.0, visualizing all recent close encounters between Russia and NATO warplanes. Yeah. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
No, I said we read about who can make war with the beast, you know, and it's showing you that Russia and them other allies are gonna go head to head with these nations.
Yeah, I got to send this to you so you can have it. It says lately, not a day seems to pass without news of NATO jets being scrambled to intercept, reroute a Russian warplane or reconnaissance jet. As a result, David Sensitot, the aviation blog, was compelled to. I'm sorry, what's that? What's that? I can't even see that. Compiled. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Compiled the recent history of all the close encounters between Russia and NATO warplanes since 2013. In a 69-page ebook, he has summarized all the most significant close encounters to show how routine interceptions have become recurrent. Tenser and more dangerous. The proof that we live in a new Cold War, or a Cold War 2.0, as we dubbed it. Then you can read about this ebook. All right, so you'll see it up on screen. And like I said, this was put up today.
Yeah, they got the map down there with the different airplanes or jets. Okay, yeah, the apostle said the blue planes represent NATO and the red planes represent Russia. You know, so you know on all levels, if you have your eyes open, you can see that this thing is coming together. So back in Revelation 13:5, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Now the 40 and 2 months, I haven't done the math on this in a little while, but I believe that's 3.5 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I have to go back over it to make sure, because like I said, I haven't gone over the 40 and 2 months in a little while. 350 years, kind of, you know. So with the 1620 to 1970, you know, which I mean, I